But two other veteran city council members said goodbye to public office after decades of service. One of them was a prominent civic leader who was termed out after 3 terms representing South LA. Gil Reyes looks back on a career that began as a cop during the civil rights movement.
The year was 1965. Human rights leader Malcolm X was assassinated in New York. Black marchers demanding voting rights came under attack in Selma, Alabama. And here in LA, riots broke out in the community of Watts. Also that year, Bernard Parks, a General Motors factory worker, joined the LAPD. No one expected him to climb far up the ranks.
There was a number of things that just were understood, that there were jobs in which blacks just didn't work.
But Parks broke the mold to become chief of police in 1997. He was appointed by then-Mayor Richard Riordan. Outspoken and independent, Parks battled the police union and exposed bad cops in the infamous Rampart police corruption case. By the end of his term, he fired 130 problem officers.
We sent the clear message that discipline and accountability could be put in place. At the same time, in that 5 years, we reduced crime to the levels of the 60s.
His celebrity grew. Parks even graced People magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People issue, with stars like Leonardo DiCaprio and Gwyneth Paltrow. But tragedy followed. In 2000, his granddaughter was shot to death, an innocent victim of gang violence. Then, after 5 years as chief, the police commission and then-Mayor James Hahn decided not to reappoint Parks. So with the support of his wife, Bobby, Bernard Parks campaigned for a seat on the LA City Council, the 8th district seat representing mostly black neighborhoods in South LA.
And so we ran in our first election. I think we got 78% of the vote.
He'd go on to serve 3 terms. As former chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, he helped steer the city from bankruptcy during the recession. He protected tenants' rights, pushed for development in blighted areas, and promised to fix 400 sidewalks by the time he leaves office. Through it all, he remains staunchly independent, oftentimes voting against council colleagues on pet projects and labor issues.
I'd rather be independent with integrity than be a part of a herd that says I gave up my values and principles just to be amongst the group. I think about what decisions I made to continue moving forward. And after 50 years, I'm very pleased. I have no regrets.
Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
As LAPD chief, Parks created the first cold case unit in the nation. This led to the arrest of grim sleeper suspect Lonnie Franklin Jr. after 2 decades on the run.